Hey guys, some gamer dude here. I've had this video on the back burner for a while now, ever since Wizards of the Coast released the Magic the Gathering set Ikoria, Layer of Behemoths. Ikoria had a rather interesting gimmick to the set in that it had Magic's first crossover. A handful of cards had alternate versions where the character on the card was replaced with a Godzilla character. Since this seemed to be just a one-off event, I didn't feel any pressure to push this video out anytime soon. But this past week, Wizards showed off their release schedule for 2021, and that pushed this video up to the top of the queue. The third Magic the Gathering set for 2021 is a crossover with another Wizards of the Coast property, Dungeons & Dragons. This set is titled Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realm. In retrospect, I think Bag of Holding in Core 20 might have been testing the waters for this, but I think it's a good idea. Magic was originally designed as a companion piece to D&D, and D&D has some really cool, iconic monster designs to draw from, such as the Beholder and the Mind Flayer. Given the party theme of Zendikar 3, you could make a Final Fantasy 1 themed deck if they made the right cards, but I digress. Forgotten Realms really opens the doors to more Magic crossovers. Not that there hasn't been promotional crossovers before. HasCon had Transformers and My Little Pony promos off the top of my head. I think given vehicles are a thing in Magic now, Mask and G.I. Joe could work quite nicely, even if they don't suit the flavour of Magic well. But I want to focus my vision back to Wizards of the Coast themselves. They have one other property I think is just as deserving as Dungeons & Dragons to be crossed over with Magic. Duel Masters. Duel Masters was released in Japan in 2002 and the West in 2004. It is one of the big three in Japan to this day, taking Magic's place in the holy cardboard trinity for the Japanese market, and is one of the most influential games of all time in its own right. The game died in English with its 12th set, Rampage of the Hybrid Mega Creatures, and had a failed reboot called Kaijudo. A clear case of wrong place, wrong time, and expectations being too high twice over. Duel Masters itself still has a considerable fan base in non-Japanese regions. I've reviewed Duel Masters on this channel before. Its gameplay isn't so different that its cards couldn't be approximated and put into Magic. The game is derivative of Magic's Portal set with a reconfiguration of Pokemon's prizes after all. I think the main difficulty would be making something to replace the Breaker series of effects. But I'm confident they could do something. Same goes for the reverse. If Wizards wanted to create an alternate format that these cards could be played in that operates more like Duel Masters, they could probably figure something out. Instance and Flash to Shield trigger is a no-brainer. But why do this? Magic's always looking for new consumers and is seemingly unable to tap into both the weeb and kid markets. Their art and aesthetics don't really appeal to them. Duel Masters uses artists that would go on to work for Bushiroad and other Japanese publishers. They appeal to the kid and weeb markets. Wizards can try to tap into those people, open up the audience. I think it'd be worth making a new frame closer to Duel Masters for this product. I've toyed with the idea of Duel Masters Magic cards before. The art doesn't really suit Magic's frame particularly well. I think something that is a mix of Future Sight's frame and one of the more recent Duel Masters frames would do the trick. The set would also be cheap to produce since they have all the art assets and bases to work off of. They just have to make approximations of the effects where needed. I think it would also help attract all the people who love Duel Masters but didn't take an interest in Magic over to Magic, if they can lure them into the main game from the crossover. If the Duel Masters crossover is successful, they could keep it on as a subline like Commander, a cheap to produce line that attracts a different subset of people. Duel Masters keeps getting more content each year, and has about 80 core sets with many more supplementary products. This wouldn't even be the first time Magic and Duel Masters crossed over. Duel Masters has cards for both Jace the Mind Sculptor and Nicol Bolas from way back in 2016. Thinking about it a little more, Mark Rosewater has said they are open to the idea of an extra deck in Magic the Gathering. I'm not sure how popular that concept is, but Duel Masters already has the Hyperspatial Zone, what was called the Uber Dimension Zone internally by Wizards of the Coast and has since been translated as the Super Dimension Zone. This gives Wizards the chance to test out the idea in a somewhat controlled environment before fully implementing it. Same goes for Evolution, a mechanic I'm surprised we have still yet to see in Magic. This idea all started with a card I whipped up back in January, but it became a legitimate one on my part. Like many people, I still love Duel Masters. I just don't see it coming back. Not after the original run and Kaijudo both failed, neither of which were because of the gameplay. I do, however, think that the crossover concept does provide a potential backdoor into Duel Masters returning in some capacity. The characters anyway. This has been some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.